London Spitfire will be your Overwatch League Stage 1 champions.
Stage 1 of the inaugural Overwatch season is behind us. But this is just the beginning.
And this is gearing up to be a good one.
Stage 2 is upon us, and things are changing. New patch, new maps, new faces. Who will rise and who will fall?
A preview of what we saw earlier on, see which teams have adapted.
And we'll hear from the players about how their teams are evolving. Plus, we'll take a trip in our Watchpoint time machine to tell you exactly what the future holds.
They have put together something pretty incredible.
This is Watchpoint.
Welcome to MOG's Watchpoint, everybody. I'm Chris Puckett. I'm joined at the desk. We got Monty, Doa, and Mr. X once again, and we're all coming off a massive Stage 1 final.
Enough of that, though. Enough of that, Puckett. It's time to look forward to our stage.
Yeah, this is the preview show,
Puckett.
Puckett.
Finals, though.
It's a good final. You guys are haters.
It is the preview show, though, isn't it?
Yeah, you missed
It is
the
the
other show. Sorry,
no one watches that one. They
sorry
watch
to
it
be
for
a
me,
player.
Monty.
They do.
It's
The preview show is
we-
where it's at.
We've got a full preview of what to expect in Stage 2. We're going to assess the 12 teams heading into the next stage. Plus, we'll tell you what the future holds with the help of our Watchpoint time machine. I'm laughing already. But first, let's get into the changes that are in store for Stage 2, beginning with the new patch. Mercy, get nerfed, lady. No longer able to resurrect instantly. Of course, we're also going to see no more bonus charge on those resurrects. And she's going to be not only slowed down, but she's going to be doing it for less time. 5 seconds left to be exact. But Mercy's not the only one getting nerfed. We're also nerfing the rat. Junkrat's concussion mines. No longer going to do as much damage. If you're close to the explosion, you're still getting hurt, though. Mr. X, let's talk about these changes. And what is the biggest effect these changes are going to have in the next patch going into Stage 2 on the team comps?
Well, when you die, it's actually going to mean something now. So now not having Mercy, be as prevalent. I still think she'll get some play, right? I think she'll get play when Farah comes in.
Absolutely.
But I think obviously, some of these fights just went forever, right? It was even difficult to cast at times. Like, people just being brought back to life. I think, the Mercy change, we're not going to see her as much. I think we'll just see her with Farah. I actually think we're still going to see a good amount of Junkrat. I think if things go over to like a slot tank with Moira, I think Junkrat is still going to be very good.
How often do we see Mercy?
I think you'll see her on whenever Farah comes out. Whenever you have Farah, you really need to have her.
I think we might see a little bit more than that.
I think maybe a little bit more, maybe still with Widowmaker on certain maps. Like, if you think about Ilios, like Ruins, I think you have the Widowmaker that you can go back to. You could damage boost. It's still going to be very effective. So there are at least times in specifically anti-dive compositions or Farah compositions. And that's where I want Mercy to be, as a situational support.
Just bring up the fragile backliners, right? The McCree, the Widowmaker, or the Farah.
And Valkyrie is still a really good ultimate. Really strong in terms of the amount of healing it can provide and also damage as well.
She's a mobile supercharger, basically. She's got the big AoE. Yeah, I mean, she's still a very good hero. She's just not going to be bringing up 500 HP tanks instantly anymore, which is great. I'm so happy that is going to be gone.
All right, so it's going to be gone most of the time. We may see Mercy some of the time. Doe, let's talk about the teams, though, that are going to be affected by this the most.
Well, I'm really excited about what Seoul can do with this new meta, right? Because obviously Seoul really struggling in Stage 1, especially in the support position. It didn't seem like anybody could really play Mercy that well. And now that they don't necessarily need to do that much anymore, it's not gonna affect them as much. They can bring Toby back on the Lucio. He's an incredible Lucio player. We saw him do so many awesome things back in Apex. He said himself, too, that he's been really practicing on working on timing those ultimates out again. And that's something that's tough to do if you're zipping around as Mercy, but if you're in the back lines, keeping an eye on the whole situation as Lucio, occasionally going in there and getting aggressive like he's been doing, he's going to be in a much better spot. We can also see Jaehong be dedicated to that Zen or even move back to the Ana, which we know has been his best hero for a long time. I think Seoul in the support position is really going to benefit from this.
Yeah, I think any team also that relies on dive is going to be really helped by this, because one of the problems before is if you dive in and you trade 1 for 1, let's say you're the attacking team and you kill their Widowmaker, but your Genji or Tracer dies, well, the Widow gets rezzed in their backline, and you can't do anything about it. So obviously, London Spitfire is a team that's going to be helped by this, but also I think particularly the Philadelphia Fusion, because of their play style, very aggressive with their DPS, going back and trying to assassinate those supports. And now that the one-for-one trades will be helped by no resurrection on the defensive side and closer respawns on the attacking side, I think this is going to be great for
You
Philadelphia.
do realize you can't bring Fraggy up every single fight now.
No, it's fine. You don't need
Yeah, you don't
Fraggy
need
be
to.
there.
Well, he may play Reinhardt now. He might not even
That's
have
true.
to be that Winston that jumps in anymore.
I do
so.
think some teams with like 2 flex supports also end up kind of having a boost with this meta as well. Because if we see more Moira, right, you can have like Unko and Kariv. They can switch off the Zenyatta role. One of them can play Moira, who is also another high impact hero.
Totally. Custa and Chips on
Custa and
Dallas
Chips as
Field,
well,
another
yep.
good example of that.
Yeah.
All right, Monty, let's talk a little bit about the San Francisco Shock, because we knew coming into stage 1 that this team had a lot of talented support players, but not a talented Mercy quite yet. The Mercy evolved with Dak on that over time, but he was known as a Lucio specialist. Is he on the same level as Toby?
All right. I don't know if I agree with your initial statement that we knew they had a lot of talented support players because we literally hadn't seen Sleepy play before. But that aside, I think Dak is somebody who's going to get a big boost from this. He was one of the weak points, no doubt, for San Francisco, dying first, floating to his death.
That was a sad clip right there. Oh,
but
man.
what is great about Dak is when he's at his best on Lucio, he is in the DPS face. You can see actually on his Twitter, his location is the skybox, right? He's up in the clouds on the Lucio, attacking your backline or just zipping around being annoying. And so I want to see this play style again. I think it should be hugely helpful.
We saw that in their match against Seoul. He was just running around on Lucio in the backlines on Helios, just causing so many problems.
Or like seeing him on Temple of Anubis trying to get back behind the Widowmaker and take that 1v1. Like, I mean, this guy's a crazy aggressive Lucio.
Speed Dak is back. Welcome back,
Yeah.
Dak. We're excited to see you back with the wheels on your feet. In addition to the new patch changes, guys, we have to talk about the 7 new maps that are going to be in play. Assault is going to be played first in Stage 2 with the introduction of Hanamura and Volskaya Industries. The second map type will be Control with Nepal added, joining Lijiang Tower, which was the tiebreaker in Stage 1. And then when it comes to our third map, that is going to be our hybrid maps after halftime. Hollywood and Kings Row are now in the mix. The fourth map for the matches in Stage 2 will be Escort, and we're going to see the likes of Route 66 and Watchpoint Gibraltar. So let's talk a little bit about this with some new maps coming in, and Ilios being the new tiebreaker Game 5 if we get there. How do you feel about the map pool? I'm a big fan to see Kings Row back.
Okay, I think a lot of people are. It is one of the bread and butter maps of Overwatch. I think in general, to speak to the map pool, I like that we're changing between stages. I know some people would say, hey, we were a little bit bored of the maps going all the way through Stage 1, but the pro players really need a narrower map pool in order to be successful in Overwatch. And what we should be interested in is seeing how the strategies on these maps develop over the course of the stage. So I think 5 weeks is a good amount of time. Let's change it up now. That all said, I'm really excited about Route 66. And the reason why is because we can see a lot of different strategies on these maps. Sombra was very popular when we last saw it on Point A defense because you have the 2 mega health packs right across from each other on Point A. Leads to some extremely fast EMPs, as we can take a look right here. There's also Point C on this map, which is a very narrow corridor where you can see a lot of Junkrat, Soldier on the high ground, Reinhardt, Zarya. So similarly, you see that diversity across the entire map.
Yeah, this map pool in general is pretty good for Zarya. I think we'll definitely see a lot of Zarya in general.
Yeah, well, I mean, just in general, Triple Tank is going to be coming back probably with Mercy being nerfed and all that too, and the map pool. Speaking of map pools, I'm excited about Hollywood coming back. That's been one of my favorite maps since Overwatch began, really, since beta. I've loved playing on this map, and I'm glad to see it back again. It's got such a cool dichotomy between high ground, low ground, especially on Point B. Talk about maps we're going to see far on. We're definitely going to see a lot of that here on Hollywood, but just every single point has a lot of that stuff. I mean, Triple Tank works great, and the most exciting thing maybe, people complain about no Symmetra at all in Stage 1. This is one of the few maps that maybe you could actually make an argument for running her on Point A defense. We've seen it before. We'll probably see a lot of Torbjorn.
I don't know how many people actually complain that Symmetra wasn't in the competitive.
I like everyone being able to get their time in the league, you know?
What about you,
We'll
Matt?
see a Symmetra eventually. I'm excited to see Kings Row back in action. I think when you think about Overwatch, like King's Row is the map that I really think about. Just on that first point on the attack, we're going to see a ton of Reinhardt play, Zarya as well. On defense, you can run so many different comps, right? You can play Orisa with Roadhog, you can sit in that back corner, you can play the Junkrat kind of spam in the hotel, you can have players just get halted and hooked onto the point. I think this will be a map where we see so many different comps on. Offense, you can have a Hanzo in the mix, you can have Pharah Mercy, Widowmaker as well.
Symmetra
just opens
on defense.
It up. Symmetra if you want it.
You never know.
He's waiting for it. He's waiting for it.
Noah has been practicing Symmetra all weekend.
Those 1400 SR games.
One of the beta phases, she was my most played in one of the beta phases. That was a long time ago. Symmetra was a very different hero then. But,
it was many moons ago.
A long time ago.
All right, well, alongside the new maps, guys, we're also going to potentially see some new faces in new places. So let's open this one up and talk about the star benchwarmers that should be moved to maybe a new team starting lineup. And I want to start here with you, Monty.
I think you have to trade Fisher if you are the London Spitfire. I am dying on the inside London that Fisher is not starting. Now, Gesture is great, don't get me wrong, but Fisher, across the board, was the best tank in the world in 2017, and I haven't seen him in a while. So please send Fisher somewhere where he can start, because he's basically an instant upgrade over anyone else's main tank in the league. Like, literally any team, he would be an upgrade.
Where would you go? Where would you go? What's the ideal team for Fisher right now?
Well, anywhere.
It's a good choice.
Anywhere, except for maybe Houston, because he might be the only Korean, so they might have some communication issues. Obviously, Muma's been playing well too, but I think Seoul may be having some tank issues right now. Maybe just deal him over there, provide another opportunity for him.
I see where you're going with this. What about you, Mr. Noah?
Speaking of Seoul, I think there's somebody on their roster we can take a look at there. Guido is going to be my pick, because this is a guy that used to play a lot of DPS back in the day. In fact, I think he was a very good tracer back when we saw him in Apex in the past when he was on Lunatic High. And the thing is, they brought him in. They have like 1 million tracer players on this team for some reason, so they have Guido play the Mercy. It doesn't go very well at all. I don't think support is his role. I think you trade him, get him on a team where he can play DPS again, and this guy's going to thrive.
Matt, what about you?
Well, if Fisher's going to Seoul, I want to see Kuki go somewhere. I want to see him play. There's no reason that guy should be on the bench. In the matches that we've seen him play, he's played great. They bring in Miro for a lot of their big games towards the end of the season. It just seemed a little bit off with him in the lineup for whatever reason. I'd love to see Kuki get a starting spot somewhere else. A lot like how you said, Fisher, very good. He can start a lot of these other teams. I think Kuki is that quality as well.
And Kuki also, we know, speaks English, so that's attractive to many of the teams in this league, and is a shot caller. So he could bring 2 different factors to a team. Whereas if we look at, and I think Fisher and Kuki, now we haven't seen either of these guys in a while now, and that really makes me wonder about whether they have been held in reserve a little bit as part of this this trading period.
Hey, it's a long season, 40 matches, right? Maybe they're saving best for last. We'll see how that one all plays out. For now, though, guys, we have to get excited about Stage 2 here in the venue, but I know we're not the only ones pumped up here. Looking forward to the new patch. The players are so excited for not just the new patch, but also the new maps and the ability to make some moves in the standings.
What did we do to deserve such incredible Overwatch?
Stage 2 is the first time we've seen a really dramatic change.
I'm ready for Stage 2.
I'm pretty excited about Lucio coming back into the meta.
흥미롭고 진짜 이 스테이지에는 진짜 게임이 열릴 것 같고 재밌을 것 같아요.
We got a new patch, we got a new meta.
Nobody knows how things are going to go. Everything could change. This is like a whole new season.
A team that can adapt the fastest is going to come out strong.
Probably more tank comps.
메르시가 죽음으로써 다른 힐러들이 좀 편할 것 같아서.
The map I'm excited for most is King's Row.
I like King's Row. To play Reinhardt. People say I cannot play Reinhardt.
People are people.
Yeah.
Power rankings are to switch like a ton.
Nobody knows.
한편으로 긴장되고 재밌을 것 같아요.
There's going to be a rotation effect.
I think Seoul might be affected positively. I think Dallasfield and Philly will rise in the rankings.
발리언트도 되게 상상 이상으로 잘할 것 같아요, 우리가.
Everybody has been waiting for this moment.
What's also exciting about Stage 2 is there's no way that process will be complete by the first game.
연습밖에 답이 없죠. 어떻게 적응하냐에 따라.
We practice a lot and we win.
Just gonna grind it really hard.
We're going to see maybe more diverse matchups than we've seen in the past, which is definitely exciting.
I think every single team is gonna have a huge change.
생각 없이 하는 돌진 메타 그런 게 없고.
We're coming back Stage 2. What should we expect?
The only way you're going to find out which team is the strongest in Stage 2 is watching Stage 2.
Now, the stage title matches do not factor into the season standings, so here we are with New York sitting at the top of the leaderboard heading into stage 2. There's a bunch of squads right behind them with 7 and 6 wins, and then you have to look at the teams in the bottom half of the league that are looking to make a push going into stage 2. With that in mind, we want to quickly give you our current outlook and what we have to see for each of the teams, starting with the bottom here. We're going with the 0-10 Shanghai Dragons. 20 seconds on the clock. Monty, what do we know about this squad?
I think that even if you see this team make some roster moves, that they're still going to be last place in the standings no matter what. It's going to be so hard for them to dig themselves out of the 0-10 hole, especially with that map differential, that even if they start winning a couple of matches, I'm not sure they're actually going to legitimately move up in the standings, even if they get better as a team.
40-0.
Wow.
Let's go 40-0.
Oh, I don't think it's going to be that bad.
3 bonus seconds. We're moving on. You can't get one more win than the Florida Mayhem. They're currently coming in at 1-9, Doa.
Well, Matt, why don't you tell us about Florida instead?
Yeah, the Mayhem, I'm the Mayhem expert here.
You are. I don't want to take that away from you ever.
I think with the Mayhem adding some new players and their support's able to go back to the heroes that they like to play, I think they'll get just a little bit better. I don't think they make it out of that bottom of the standings. I do think they improve greatly off that 1-9 record, though.
Let me read this one properly. Doa, you're coming up next. Is Dallas Fuel. They're coming in at just 3-7. What's wrong with this squad?
Well, Dallas, the thing is I want these guys to kind of just keep doing what they're doing, honestly. And I don't mean losing. I mean retooling things. I mean going ahead and experimenting, finding what works. I like that they're kind of saying, hey, we know we can sort of win in this way. That sort of worked for us over time. We need to move away from that if we're going to be successful. So I'd say do that. And
we're moving away from you on to Mr. X, and we're taking it to the San Francisco Shock.
Well, look, like a lot like what I talked about with the Florida Mayhem, Dak can play Lucio again. So I think just taking him off of Mercy and allowing him to play Lucio can help with, Sleepy, obviously, who can play Ana or Zen. Makes this team an instant threat, I think. Baby Bay had a very good stage 1. I thought Dante got better as the stage went on as well. I expect San Fran to be much better in stage 2.
All right, let's keep it going on to the Purple People Eaters, the Gladiators, Mr. Dilla.
Gladiators. Well, it goes without saying, Asher, don't fall off the map anymore. That's a good thing. Goose, Big Goose, unleash this guy on the Lucio. We know he's got it in him. He's going to be awesome on that hero in the new meta. And then protect Shaz better. Play around Shaz more. This guy is a huge playmaker on the Zenyatta, so why not make that more of a focus in how you operate?
Monty, let's keep it rolling here in 1 second. On to the Philadelphia Fusion. What's in store for stage 2?
As I said earlier, I think this is going to be a team on the rise. They're already 6-4. The meta is going to suit them better as they can play aggressively, more effectively without the Mercy Resurrections in the last line. We've seen great stuff from Shadowburn and Carpe so far. So as they get their teamwork together, now they're going to be able to actually in-house scrim that all 12 members are in the area as well. Better practice, better dive.
On to the next one. Mr. X, we're into the top half of the league. Let's talk about the Boston Uprising.
Yeah, I think Boston's going to benefit with their aggressive play style greatly in stage 2 with the new meta change. And I also think you'll be able to rotate those off tanks a little bit better than you did in stage 1. Note can play a lot of the Diva. Kalios can focus on those Zarya maps. Gamsu can play whether Winston or Reinhardt. It's going to be very strong for Boston.
On to number 5 on our leaderboard. Doa, tell me about the Seoul Dynasty.
All right, Seoul Dynasty, what you need to do is do the lunatic high. Rely on your supports, rely on Zunba, and maybe make a bit of an adjustment in that main tank role. I'm not sure if Miro is going to be able to handle the Reinhardt again if we move back into that kind of meta. At least they have better options for DPS right now. So I think these guys are going to be good again, but I think they need to kind of fall back on that lunatic high core and play that style.
Keep your eyes on Seoul, but you can't count out the Valiant. They were almost into the playoffs for stage 1. What happens in stage 2?
Well, Puckett, they still have a Genji player. They still have Soon on the Tracer. Another team like Boston, like Philadelphia, that benefits from a dive meta. We didn't see that many different looks from them compositionally, but I'm confident that they can actually start to play around triple tank or dive better. You have agilities and Soon to swap onto the third tank if you need.
Stage 1 champions. It was the London Spitfire. They get $100,000. How many more bucks do they make in stage 2? What are you expecting, Dylan?
Hey, sky's the limit for these guys, and that is not a Spitfire pun. That is just the facts. These guys won stage 1. They did get that big prize, and they've got, again, such a huge, diverse lineup. I say start incorporating Rascal a little bit more into this. We know he can play a ton of heroes. This roster hasn't even begun to discover the combinations that are going to win them games.
Such a deep lineup, and the same can be said about the Houston Outlaws. pause, but Monty, it seems they found their core six. What do you expect in stage two?
I think they're going to go down in the standings, Puckett. This is another one where even though the Junkrat is still going to be there, Banny playing that Mercy was one of their biggest strengths, and this was a very defense-oriented team. They won maps and they won matches by playing very far back and full holding. They're not going to have that opportunity right now. They will be more vulnerable to the dive. They're going down.
Finally, Matt, last but not least, it's your favorite squad, and they come from New York. Imagine that.
Look, New York is still going to be the top dogs at the end of stage 2. I think they just need to leave Mono in the game. You have Mono in at the main tank. We've seen what Meko can do with whether it's D.Va or Roadhog. I think the biggest thing is they need to work on how they can get Pine in the lineup more. We saw it a little bit on Junkertown, what he did against London. The guy is so good. They need to play him a little bit more, figure out their lineup.
More Pine time. I love that prediction. That's a quick look at what we expect from our teams in stage 2. And speaking of the New York XL, which was our #1 squad, there is a player on this team that became a popular favorite to many Overwatch fans during the stage 1 finals. And that is, of course, Pine. It was our colleague Crumbs who first referred to the pink-haired assassin as the big boss. And, well, let's just say the nickname stuck.
Big Boss Pine is on the scene.
솔직히 빅보스란 거에 대해서 좀 얘기하자면은 개인적으로 제 생각에는 좀 불안감이 좀 크죠.
Pine gets Banny with the Deadeye. This guy is unstoppable.
뭐라 네임드 자체가 잘해야 되는 거는 확실한데
Pine with 3. Pine with 4, in fact.
너무 부담감이 크긴 해요. 거기에 대한 부담감이 크고.
Just gonna kill everybody. Oh!
잘 되면 기분은 좋은데 말이 길어지네요.
Not many Widowmakers would go for this play.
Yeah, but Pine would.
위험한 플레이를 많이 하니까 저희한테도 이제 하이 리스크 하이 리턴이 오는 거죠.
그러니까 상대한테 와우 빅 보스고 우리한테도 오 빅 보스인 거죠. Careful 약간 이런 느낌이에요.
Are you kidding me? This guy's a living highlight reel, man.
보스란 게 너무 잘 어울려서.
이라서 그러니까 최강 보스가 아니고 뚱뚱해서.
아니. 여름이로.
리베로의 별명은 미니 보스.
You gotta love Pine, and looking at the numbers, he does the one thing Mr. X can't do, and that's complete his kills. Look at this, across all heroes, he leads the league with final blows for 10 minutes.
Yeah, you know, if there was one thing I was going to say about Pine, it was like, I wish it was McCree was a little bit better. Oh, well.
I mean, I love watching this guy. I particularly enjoy how his style of play, the high risk, high reward, that swagger play that he has, really matches his personality. Like, they are in perfect harmony. It's great.
Swagger, perfect way to describe this, man. All right, well, we talked about all the changes for Stage 2 and how they could affect the competition. So with that in mind, our analysts have chosen their dream teams for Stage 2. Doa, let's start with you.
All right, my dream team. Of course, you got to go with Fleta on DPS, man. He is so good. I would say arguably the best DPS in the league. But then, you know what? New York's at the top of the standings. Let's just throw the rest of the guys in there. I'm sorry, Libero. Sorry, man.
Well, why doesn't New York just trade Pine for Fleta and just make it a done deal?
I'm a little bit, you know, I don't want to say I was lazy with this one, but New York is really good, guys. I mean, Mano, Meko, they've got the synergy. Sabiel B is such an awesome hit scan player. Jonak and Arc, there's no better support duo in Overwatch League. So this is absolutely my dream team for Stage 2. It was almost a reality team in Stage 1.
No one from London either. Our Stage 1 champions. Weird.
No.
All right, go ahead, Monty.
Yeah, very weird, I think. I'm actually going to mix it up a little bit here. Still going to be a lot of teams at the top of our standings. I'm going to take Fleta with Birdring as my DPS. Birdring, I think, has been more consistent in high-pressure matches than Sabiel B has, and I think that Birdring is also going to be a little bit better on non-tracer heroes. For me, Gesture is the best tank so far in this stage. Does a great job of controlling space. Meko is the best flex tank in the world. And I'm taking Toby for his shot calling abilities and for the fact that I think we're going to be heading into a more Lucio-centric meta. Arc is a great Lucio and has that synergy with Jonak, but Toby has historically been the best Lucio in the world. I keep Jonak on there. Obviously, you think, well, maybe Jae Hong if we're moving away from the Mercy, but I think Zenyatta is going to be very, very powerful still, and he can still flex onto the Ana when needed. So thinking about what's coming down the pike, I think this is going to be my choice.
Oh, Jonak, back-to-back lineup. Such a surprise. Mr. X, who you got in yours?
You got him here in another one, too. I went with Jonak and Arc as my support combination. I feel like they synergize really well together. I feel like Arc can get the job done on Lucio at a very high level. And then I went with Gamsu and Meko in terms of my tanks. I took Gamsu as my main tank because look at what he's done with an off tank who probably is not at the caliber of Meko, right? And then with the DPS players, how he's created so much space for Striker and Dreamcasper. Imagine him creating space for Birdring and Fleta with Meko as his off tank. It'd be extremely strong team.
I'm just amazed that I had more New York bias than you did in this segment. That's gotta be.
But we all had full Korean bias, right? We had all Korean players, but that's really just because we were concerned about their communication. We want this to be top tier communication.
That's what it was all about, I'm sure. Shout out to Matt for picking someone that was not in the top 5. Well done, Gamsu. All right, well, guys, it's pretty interesting that you've all chosen Fleta, you all chose Meko, you all went with Jonak, but there were some deviations, and that happened with your second DPS as well as your main tanks here. So let's talk a little bit about these cores, and I want to start with you, Mr. X. You went Gamsu. Why is he the best tank to put on your dream team?
I went with Gamsu for the reasons I said. He creates so much space for his DPS players. We saw it on Boston. We talk all the time about how good Dreamcasper and Striker are. Well, it's because the space that Gamsu is opening up. You see, he leads the league in Primal Rage Elims. If he's playing with a off tank, let's say in the fantasy scenario like Meko, he's able to stay alive even longer, open up more space for players like Fleta and Birdring.
All right, Doa, he went Gamsu, but you went with Mono. Why are you going with the New York Excel tank?
Because here's the thing about Mono, right? I mean, he may not be the flashiest Winston in the league, but there's no more solid main tank than this guy. He won the World Cup, right? Look at that, lowest deaths per 10 minute on Winston in the league. That is a huge stat, right? For a guy that's paired on a team that plays this great defensive play. Also, played the first 2 maps of the finals, then they took him out. Janus played the last 3 and they lost. The results speak for themselves. Mano is the best.
I was going to say, at least you got him in the game.
The numbers did back you up well. I like that call. All right, Monty, last but not least, you did not choose Gamsu. You did not choose Mono. Instead, you went with Gesture, the only one on the championship lineup.
Yeah, let's talk about the numbers that really matter, Puckett. The reigning Apex Season 4 champion, our Stage 1 champion, Gesture, has been in both of these lineups as the starting tank. He has been outstanding, showing us the highest ceiling of tank play throughout all of last year, even if we saw more consistent play over the course of 2017 with Fisher. Love his personality, and the way he opens up space for Prophet and Birdring, I think, is second to none for a main tank. So I'd really like to see him coupled up with Meko on my roster. I think that would be absolutely terrifying.
That would be a very dirty duo right there. I like this comp a lot that Monty put together. Doa, you should rethink yours or start working for New York. Figure that out.
They're basically #1 in the standings right now, except for Fleta. Come on. How can this be argued with?
Well, we are about to take some trips in our new Watchpoint time machine to find out what the future holds. But before we do that, let's take one quick look back at Stage 1 in the inaugural Overwatch League. Let's roll the montage.
We are here finally ready to get things started in our very first match of the inaugural season of the Overwatch League.
Swoosh leading the pony ride to the stage. I love it. There are 3 giants in this league: New York, Seoul, and London.
Victory over the Spitfire. They've knocked them out of the sky.
Philadelphia Fusion bring us second massive upset of the day.
New York Excel, they have done it, and they are the new kings of Overwatch League. Where was the talk about Pine? That guy's a monster.
Big Boss Pine is on the scene.
Oh!
Just gonna kill everybody.
Woo!
This guy is unstoppable.
You've got some of the best Overwatch on display right now. There's no doubt about it. Fleta is just coming alive.
Sabiolbi, he is the best tracer in the game.
Jake is becoming the hero of Houston here, man.
I don't think I've seen that in a long time. That was filthy.
Valiant will win the battle for Los Angeles.
The reverse sweep.
You know what? I'm so proud of my team.
I'm so proud of you guys. London Spitfire, a 4-0 victory over the Seoul Dynasty.
Dynasty needed a 4-0 today to keep their playoff chances alive, and the shock in that.
This is the first ever stage playoff finals.
Is this happening? You better believe it!
London Spitfire will be your Overwatch League Stage 1 champions.
Brand new league, fantastic story here to our first stage.
What did we do to deserve such incredible Overwatch?
All right, so we've gotten you set for stage 2, but what about beyond? To see further into that, we need to build a time machine. And the good news is we got a big production budget. We spent a lot of money on this high-tech machine.
Wow.
So who wants to try this bad boy off first?
I'll be the one that tries it.
That looks totally safe. I'm sure it'll
It
be
looks
fine.
super safe.
Matt, before you go, you cannot get out of that time machine. We don't want to cause any temporal paradoxes.
Not again.
Not again. You're already your own grandfather,
Look,
so.
I'm gonna be great. I'm gonna be great. I trust this time machine. Whoa. So in the year 2, season 2 championship, Shanghai dominates Seoul Dynasty. They're the new champions of Overwatch League. They complete what the Cleveland Browns have never been able to do. They go from not winning a game in year 1 to taking everything in year 2. We've also gotten rid of the MVP award because we just determined it was going to go to Fleta forever. And Doa, you're not here. Monty's casting with XQC now.
What? Oh, okay.
Does that better?
Super bizarre. It's really weird. But it's kind of good, though, so I don't mind it. I think I want to get out. I don't want to be here anymore. Get me out of here. Get me out of here.
I think that was a very successful trip.
Monty scared me.
We learned a lot.
Sent to another dimension, so I didn't want to get out until I was supposed to.
All right, Monty, you're up next. You ready?
Yeah.
Where was I?
What year are we going to?
I don't know.
What do you think? I think like 25 years in the future might be okay.
25.
Okay. All right. 25.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Okay. I think I'm about here. I think I'm 25 years in the future. It looks like there's 140 teams now. Why are there so many Fletas? Oh, it looks like after those losses to Shanghai, Seoul just decided to clone him. Now Seoul is just Fleta 1 through Fleta 6. What's that new hero? Oh man, it looks like he's being played in every game. It's like how Mercy used to be. I think after Jeff Kaplan retired, they turned him into an honorary hero, and wow, that wrestle ability looks really OP. No wonder they play him all the time. All right, guys. I think I'm done with this. This is a bit too much for me. Let's go back.
That sounds scary.
Oh man.
Yikes.
Shirtless Jeff the wrestler did not know he was a hero.
Wow.
In the future.
Oh, we only got 25
What
years.
skins did he have?
It's
You didn't see any
Oh, you know,
skins? Just the base skin? What was the base skin
Just
like?
a base skin. It was a greased up Jeff in just wrestling shorts. You know.
That's logical, I guess.
What Jeff normally wears.
it's kind of not like that.
Yeah, we've been there. We've seen him.
That's what he wears at the office. You know.
Yeah.
Monty, it looked like you took a long time to get to the future. Did you have any stops on
Oh
the way?
yeah, I did.
you did?
I took a quick stop off in the past, you know, just to relive my favorite moment from Watchpoint this season.
What is it?
What is it? Well, you can take a look at it.
Oh, come on, man. All right. I'm defenseless here. I'm defenseless. They put that hat on me.
I'm
They
so
hit me
sorry
with all
I
the
missed that
confetti
in
and
person.
stuff. Come on, man.
Your 2-pound dog would have
That
been
is
less
great.
scared of that. All right, very good
It was
stuff.
our surprise party, but it was definitely a highlight for me.
This is a great
Wow.
moment. All right,
It wasn't
Dylan,
a party.
You're the last one. How
Yeah.
far into the future would you like to go?
I'm going to be very brave on this one. I'm going to go 10,000 years. Wow, this might take a while. Let's see. Okay. Uh-oh. Oh, that's not good. All right. Well, guys, it looks like civilization ended after all. I mean, it's been out 10,000 years, so I guess that's not super surprising. But the good news is that there are 34,000 heroes in Overwatch now. Wow, that's a lot to pick from. And someone's holding up a sign that has a stat that says, okay, yep, Symmetra still has not seen competitive play. All right, I guess that's not too surprising. And they seem to be paying for food and services with owl tokens. In fact, humanity is now just living in all the arenas in Overwatch League. They're finally built. But It's humanity's last bastion. That's where all the survivors are. Guys, we've started something that will save the remnants of our species. This is incredible. And there's a commissioner. Oh my gosh. It's Mechananzer. His body is long since turned to dust, but his digital consciousness has somehow been preserved in the wires and gears of the Citadel, the holy Citadel of Burbank. That's amazing. I never thought. And someone else is trying to show me something. It says, it's a forum post. It says, XQC's ban is finally over and they're really excited to see what he can do next stage. Okay, I guess it's about time. That's, oh, the tentacles are coming. I gotta get out of here. Sorry.
Run, Noah.
You survived.
That sounds hellish, Noah.
Wow.
I think we didn't need to look that far forward.
I don't want. That's kind of scary.
Too deep, guys. We all need to apologize for what you just witnessed, and that is going to do it for today's episode. Don't worry, though. We're going to be back in the future, some point, I assume. Well, at least these guys will be checking it out. Make sure you guys check out the beginning of Stage 2 of the Overwatch League. It's coming up Wednesday, February 21st on MLG.com, OverwatchLeague.com, and the Overwatch League app. Thanks for watching.